Right, let's get cracking. Coming up, it's another Loco repair challenge. All these engines have been broken, mistreated, or literally just left to rot. I'm going to try and fix them up so that these forgotten models can be enjoyed once again. But there is a catch. Each repair job has a time limit, and this is decided by the Time-O-Matic machine. If the time runs out before the repairs are complete, then the engine will go to the evil scrapman.
I am the scrapman.
This season, the engines are in worse condition than ever before, and the time limits are tighter than ever before, so this time my skills will truly be put to the test. Welcome to Salvage or Scrap. Let's take a look at this season's remaining splintered steam trains, torn up tankers, and harassed haulers. Today's engine is a lovely 2015 Oxford Rail Adams Radial tank that cost me just £47. To me, this Loco looks pretty good, but let's take a closer look and see what I'm dealing with. Well, it is pretty good, perfect even. All of the details seem to be intact, even down to the tiny sprung buffers and the coupling. It's got all of those. It's perfectly clean as well. The livery is 100% intact, and generally the condition, I would say, is faultless. I have unboxed brand new locomotives in poorer condition than this, so presumably this Loco has some performance issues, because otherwise this would not be much of a challenge at all. So let's get some power to it and see if it works. Right, so full power has been applied and I am not seeing anything. Give it a little wiggle. No, I'm not feeling any vibrations, no motor noise, nothing at all, not even a twitch. So at the moment, this Loco seems to be 100% completely and utterly dead. This Loco is cosmetically perfect, but of course completely dead. And that could be tricky because at the moment I have no idea why it's dead. So let's find out how long I've got for this challenge. Time-O-Matic, if you will. 26 minutes. So that's a decent chunk of time. That's a little bit longer than the other repair times I've had so far this season, but I can't mess about. It seems like there might be something electrically wrong here because the motor doesn't seem to have power to it, so that needs investigating. However, knowing these Oxford Rail Locos, there's at least a decent chance that a new motor will be needed. And it takes around 15 to 20 minutes to 3D print a new motor adapter, which is obviously a good chunk of my time. So I think my plan has to be to start one of those parts 3D printing straight away, even if I end up not needing it, because if I discover 20 minutes in that that's what I need, it's going to be too late. So I'm going to get that 3D printer cranked up, then I'm going to crack that Loco open, see what's going on inside. Okay, 26 minutes, please wish me luck. The rules are that I'm not allowed to go shopping for any replacement parts. I can use parts that I already have in my own stores, or I can 3D print brand new ones, but anything made this way must be printed within the time limit. Well, I'm very curious to find out what's going on inside this Loco, and I'm only a few moments away from finding out. So, 26 minutes, Time-O-Matic, please start the clock in 3, 2, 1, now. Right, so first things first, just in case I do need to swap the motor, I'm going to run along and start a new motor mount being printed on the 3D printer. This 3D printed motor mount is a tried and tested design that I know works well. So if this is needed, I should be all set. We'll see how long that takes. And for now, let's open up this Loco and see what's going on. A dream come true would be a loose wire, because then I could solder it back into position and fix the Loco entirely. A much worse problem would be not knowing why the Loco's not running. So hopefully it will be obvious, maybe it won't be, I don't know. Well, having removed the body, I'm not seeing anything obviously wrong. There's oil absolutely everywhere inside here. So has somebody tried to lubricate this and overdone it? I don't know, but there's a huge puddle of oil right there. Too much oil is bad for model trains, so it is important to clean this up. But the oil doesn't explain why the Loco's completely dead. There must be something else going on here. Let's connect power directly to the motor and see if we get any motion at all. You ready? Nope, nothing. The Loco is completely dead, even when power's applied directly to the motor. In fact, it's short-circuiting, and by this, I'm completely perplexed. Oh, the motor seems to be dead. Yeah, it's shorting. So let's pull the motor out and see if it works then. If the motor's still dead when I remove it from the Loco, then it's a faulty motor. However, if I remove the motor and then it starts working, then there must be a fault somewhere else on the Loco chassis. So now I have the motor out, let's straighten out these motor contacts and let's see if I can get this motor to turn at all. Oh, that's not good. The motor works. With the motor working, I'm in trouble. That means there's an electrical fault somewhere on the Loco, and it's not at all obvious what that might be. Am I still getting a short if I power the Loco? Yep. Something is shorting and it's not the motor's fault. So the motor might be okay for all I know. I have no idea, I'll be honest with you. I have absolutely no idea. Does it short if I power the wheels directly? No, the wheels aren't shorting. There's no short circuit when power's applied to the wheels. This is a really confusing problem. I'm starting to suspect there might be something on the circuit board that's going wrong, because that is shorting like anything. So I'm thinking then I might just try to bypass the DCC socket entirely. Let me just make sure that it's not the blanking plate. Does it still short? No, it's not shorting now. And what happens if I put that blanking plate back in? It's shorting, it's this blanking plate. The DCC blanking plug is shorting it out. Finally, I've been able to narrow down the problem, and it should be a very simple fix, but only if I can find a replacement blanking plug. Sorry 3D printer, I might not need your new motor adapter at this rate, but if I can't find a DCC blanking plug from my store, then I'm going to be in trouble, because I'm going to have to rewire it without a DCC plug. Let's have a look in my parts box. I've got 21 minutes. The search seems to be fruitless. I'm checking all of my parts bins and I don't seem to have a single spare blanking plug. Okay, let's rewire it. So what I might do is just short together the track and motor contacts on this circuit board, and that should bypass the DCC circuit board entirely. Let's see if that's possible. I'm just going to put a load of solder on and hopefully bridge these contacts. But the contacts on the circuit board are too far apart for the solder to bridge the gaps, so I'll have to find a less lazy solution. I'm going to need some wire. Let's cut some short sections of wire. Nope, change of plan. I'm changing my mind yet again. I'm going to try and just connect the motor wires directly. I've decided to connect the original motor wires directly to the pickups, but this means that the wires will have to stretch further than they did before. Will there be enough slack for them to reach? Let's see. Now, which one was which? I forget, so I'm just going to have to take a random guess and see. Right, I'm going to power the wheels directly. Oh, and the motor is alive. Great news. So, are the wires long enough to reach? Yes, they look like they will be. At the moment, it looks as though the wires will be long enough, so I'm able to start servicing and reassembling the mechanism. Got 18 minutes left. This is actually really enjoyable. I'm thoroughly enjoying this one. The last two, horrible, stressful nightmares. This one, I think I'll have a chance of actually doing 100% correctly. Now, the Loco will not be DCC ready anymore if I do this. But if it works at the end of this, I'll be happy. Let's put some fresh lubricant in there. Gonna give it a bit of a service while I go, just to give it the best possible chance of running, because Obviously, it was completely dead a moment ago. I don't know what sort of runner this mechanism is. Won't know until I try. I'm now connecting the motor back up to the gear train. If I do this properly, then the Loco should work again when I test it. Okay, and then the wires can tuck out of the way, like so. So I wonder what happened to this Loco. I assume whoever owned it assumed wrongly that a bit of oil was all that was needed, even though it was completely dead, so I don't know. And that would explain why there's loads and loads of oil all over the inside of this thing. Wasn't the right thing to have done. There was a fault with the DCC blanking plug. I'm not too frustrated about that, you know, at least I was able to find out that that's what it was and fix the problem. Right, I'm actually going to be quite dramatic here and put the body back on. And hopefully the rest of the work can be done while the body is on. So let's just give it some power again, just to make sure I've not disturbed anything. Yeah, all right, it still works. That is great news. The Loco is running again, so now I can screw the body back on. Unfortunately, the 3D printer hasn't been told about the change of plan, and it continues to print on in vain. Yeah, sorry about that, slight waste of plastic. Okay, I am going to keep testing this as I go because I don't want to accidentally damage something and then not know about it. Yeah, like that, it's not working now. Screwing the body back onto the chassis has caused something to go wrong. The Loco is dead again. Those wires, they are pulled tighter than they would ordinarily have been, so I'm just a bit concerned that something might have gone wrong with those. Yeah, it's a bit sloppy on my part. Yeah, I can see what's happened here. One of the motor connections is touching one of the driving wheels. Well, that's not good. I'm adjusting the tight motor wires and crossing my fingers that this will fix the problem. Working now? Yeah, that's working again. The pickups don't seem to be very reliable, so if possible, I'm going to clean all the pickups and everything, make sure that this is working as it should. Something doesn't sound very good there. This time the Loco works, but it's making an unhealthy noise, and I don't like that at all, so it's time to take the body off for the third time. The black wire I think is probably okay. It's this red one that is the problem. It looks as though the red motor wire is pulled too tight when the body's fitted, so I have to spend some precious minutes extending the wire. Oh, this is not good. I have not got time for this. So just a slight extension to that wire. Now let's tuck these wires in where they're going to be safe. This is very tedious when you're trying to be quick. With both wires adjusted so that there's a bit more slack, it's time to try again, and there's just 10 minutes left. Right, so the body is screwed on. Is it now still working? Yes, it is. Great. At long last, the Loco is running with the body in place. But I haven't checked the rest of the mechanism yet, so I'm hoping to spend some time cleaning and lubricating the rest of the engine. That's a clean bogey, great. Now let's put some power to the rear wheels. Yeah, this one seems to be going at a fair speed, seems quite lively, so that's pretty good. Yeah, these wheels are pretty dirty actually, I think it desperately needed this. Right, let's remove the base keeper. Just let's have this one straightforward, please. Right, base keeper removed. Oh my god, look at the lubricant on there, that looks awful. The Loco's axles are heavily over lubricated as well, so it's time for a very quick cleanup. That's partly why these Locos struggle so much, because the thick gloopy lubricant stops the mechanisms working right. With fresh oil and clean pickups, yeah, they've come up really nicely, and I've just put my finger in something nasty, as you can see. Oh, God's sake. Looks like I've been picking my ears. I'm ready to put the Loco back together for the final time, but the pickups are fiddly to refit under pressure. Awkward pickup design here. You've got to try and sort of coax them behind the wheels. Oh, this is not nice at all under pressure. Oh, I think I did it though. Okay, screws in, and then there should be just enough time, 5 minutes, to double check that everything's working and let that lubricant run in. Alright, and with that, let's get some power to it and please hope that it still works. Okay, so that oil's working in. I can breathe a sigh of relief. It seems to be working. Let's make sure all of the pickups are working. So that wheel, yeah, we've got power to that wheel. Yeah, same with that one. Yeah, and yeah, okay. So we've got all of the pickups on all of the wheels working as they should be. One final clean of the wheels just to make sure none of that lubricant got onto them. And that, I believe, is that. So, Timer-matic, please stop the clock. And there we are with 4 minutes and 5 seconds remaining. I think this Loco is now up and running. Let's take it back to the workshop and verify that. Right, the lovely Oxford Adams radial tank is back in the workshop after 21 minutes and 51 seconds of repairs. Obviously, the Loco hasn't changed cosmetically because it was perfect in the first place, but when initially tested, the Loco was completely dead. I'm feeling quite confident about this one. I think I did a fairly good job of fixing the issue this time, but of course you never know for sure, so let's initiate the final test. Ah, yes, the Loco lives. I was confident about this one, but I've learned from this show that you can never be 100% confident about anything because things can change between you fixing a Loco and you testing a Loco. So seeing this running so nicely is a real relief. Let's just check it works well in both directions. In reverse. Nice and fast. Yeah, it's got some speed to it. Okay, it's good news, the Loco works. That is a fantastic result. The Oxford Adams Radial is up and running again, and I can officially pronounce it salvaged and safe from the evil Scrapman. Let's add it to the leaderboard, and as you can see, it is in top place, the fastest of the season so far. Quite pleased with that. The Loco, of course, is now fit to return to the rails, and off it goes. If you'd like a chance to own this very locomotive, then bids are now open for it on eBay, so follow the link in the description if you'd like to. For now though, that is job done, and I'll see you next time on Salvage or Scrap.